Welcome to this brief run-through of Oxfordshire Family History Society's CD of transcribed grave registers for the Oxford City Cemeteries. The screen you're looking at the moment is what will appear when you first put the CD into your drive. The actual layout will depend upon what particular viewer your computer uses. In this case we're using the Sumatra PDF viewer, but all viewers have roughly the same features, it's just the layout which will be slightly different. If this is the first time you've used the CD, you will probably want to start with the introduction, so we'll click on that here. And that shows you a page that describes how the CD works, how the cemetery registers are organised, and so on. And it also includes an image of one of the registers that we have transcribed to make this CD. Let me magnify this up for you so that you can see it rather better on the video. Here we go. And you'll see this consists of 3 consecutive graves numbered 9, 10 and 11 in area A1 of the cemetery. For each of them there are 4 people buried at different depths. So we have 4 entries here with the names of the people, we have their age when they died, and we have the date of their burial. The register also includes cross-reference numbers to a burial register, but this is probably not going to be of very great interest unless you're doing some cross-checking. It won't contain any additional information. Normally the best way of finding someone is to use the index of names. So if I click on index of names, as you might expect, this simply consists, I'll blow it up again, of a list of names of everyone buried in all 4 city cemeteries in alphabetical order. For each person it includes the name, the surname, the forename, their age when they died, the year in which they died, the date of the burial, which cemetery they're buried at, and 2 index columns. The main data is presented in 2 different ways, one sorted by date and the other sorted by grave position, and these numbers are indexes that let us go from this name index into those 2 lists. The grave index is the one which will be most useful, I think, so this is the number we will concentrate on at the moment. Okay, let's actually look for someone. Let's move the names back onto the screen. Let's look for J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of The Hobbit. If I click on a T here, we immediately go to the section of the index that starts with the letter T. I could just scroll down here until I found Tolkien by I, but because this is a computer, it's quite good at finding things for us. Most viewers have a find box, so we'll put in here Tolkien. Oopsie, I'll try and spell it right. T-O-L-K. And you'll see that it has straight away taken us to the first entry for a Tolkien. 3 Tolkiens are recorded in the cemeteries: Edith Mary, John Francis Rule, and J.R.R. Tolkien himself. If I look along, you'll see it gives his age when he died, it gives the year when he died and the date of his burial, and it tells us that he was buried at Wolvercote Cemetery. And our 2 index numbers, this was the one in the index, the G index, the index by grave, 50778. This is the one which we're going to want to do. Now we could simply write that down, but rather more easily, since this is a computer, I highlight it with the mouse, I type Ctrl+C to copy it to Windows Clipboard, and then I'm going to put it in this box here by typing Ctrl+V. So now we've put it in the find box. You'll see why in a minute. Now let's look at Wolvercote Cemetery, where he's buried. And we have opened this up. This is what the list ordered by grave number looks like. You'll see that alternate graves are shown in different colours, blue and yellow. This is simply to make it easy to see who's buried in which grave. So if I magnify up here, you'll see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the first grave, 4 in the next, 4 in the next, and so on. Here's our G index. We're going to want to find number 50778 in this sequence. We could, of course, just do it manually, but since we put it in a find box, if I just click on Find Next, immediately the viewer starts searching down here for us, and when it finds entry 50778, it will stop, as it has done now. If I magnify that a little bit more, you'll see 50778 is grave 211 in area L2 of Wolvercote Cemetery, and there are 2 entries in this blue patch, so we know there are 2 people in this grave. We look along and we find that they are J.R.R. Tolkien himself and his wife Edith Mary. If we look a little further, we will see that she died in 1971, aged 82 years, whereas he died roughly 2 years later, in 1973, aged 81 years. Finally, we might want to see whereabouts in the cemetery area L2 with grave 211 is. We have a plan of the cemetery, so I click on the plan. Here's the plan of the whole cemetery. Again, of course, we can magnify it to see individual areas. Area C2, area H1, and so on. And if we come over here, we find area L2. Make that a little bit bigger for you. Mostly, graves are not marked within the cemetery, so that area L2 is fairly small. If you visited the cemetery, once you've found that area, it's no great problem to look at the actual headstones and find the right one. But because Tolkien's famous, someone has actually marked it on the plan for us. So here we have where Tolkien's grave is, and we have found out all about the people who are buried there. So I hope that's given you a little idea of what it looks like. Thank you for watching the video. Enjoy the CD.